Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Chemistry of Marriage. We're your hosts. My name is Horace. This is my beautiful wife.
Christina. We do not own rights to Married at First Sight and no infringement intended. We do not own any Married at First Sight content.
All right, so now we're at the point where the couples are starting to get a little bit more comfortable with one another. And it's really interesting as the show continues to unfold. The real person, the real individual start to surface. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree, definitely.
And so another great thing about this is that we have an opportunity to check out the interactions when everyone comes together. All right.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes people say certain things, but we have to remember they're still strangers.
Right. They're
right?
still getting to know each other.
Still getting to know each other. So they have to really be careful about some of the things that they say.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Because it may come off as a cheap shot or a jab, and the other person may not be able to take it, in kind fashion. Correct.
And this episode we're calling group chat.
Yes, absolutely. This is called group chat because we just want to take some time to focus on the group chat. All right. So I'll have a question for you, Christina. So in this group chat, of course, they're going to be, participating and asking each other questions about, hey, what's going on with you guys and whatnot. What would be your approach?
My approach would be to keep it pleasant about my spouse. That's something that I have noticed over the years of watching this show is that people tend to, take those cheap shots, as Horace mentioned, about their spouse. When they come to the group, it's like they want to use it as their complaint session. But I feel like you just met this person, so you really should try to, say nice things about them, especially in front of the group. And as you can see, you can tell it's kind of tense right here because of how people are looking and faces that you're noticing.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that because I want to say this. I feel like, you have to be really careful about things that you say, okay? And if you're going to dish it, you have to be willing to be able to take it in.
Yeah.
Correct?
Absolutely.
And
there's plenty of people that can dish it out but can't take it.
So. And so I agree with you 100%. You should be positive and you should be kind, okay? Mm-hmm. Because there were some comments that were made out in the open that I didn't find too pleasant.
And that they also didn't even share with their spouse privately. So to air it in front of the group and surprise somebody, that's just not cool.
Right. So we're going to see a little bit later, someone is going to ask Kirsten about how they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's going to mention again about the bald head, you know.
And as it plays, you'll see those things as we give the commentary. And they're just laughing. And this is the point here, I believe, that she's mentioning his bald head for the millionth time.
And here they're talking about how, I believe Eris, was saying some things about,
what he was going to do on his wedding night.
Right.
That has not occurred. So they're kind of like, what happened with that? And, there's some banter, but that seemed to go okay.
Yeah. And also, too, I think in the interest of fairness, as we're talking about Eris, I think that, he understands that, hey, this is someone I don't know. I'm married now. And I want to move slow. I want it to be organic.
Yeah,
I want
because
to get
that's
to
how
know
a real
her.
relationship would work.
Right.
However, as well, Dominique spoke about McKinley telling jokes too much, and that also seems to be a running theme when you say, Horace, that these women don't like these men telling jokes. So that's been interesting too. This is like the second one that we've heard that's like, okay, you play too much. We don't want jokes. But you also need something lighthearted, banter when you're getting to know someone.
Right. And I believe here is Kirsten, she's gonna mention the bald head.
Yeah, I think I
Again.
kind of said it too early.
Yeah, and again, this is
Yes, because see, everybody's
everyone is
laughing,
laughing.
and he's looking like, okay, that's
Here we go again.
right again. Like we're
you've
still talking about this,
right.
And Gina, I believe, is speaking about how her preference in a man and how physical attraction can grow in a relationship. She's had it happen before. And then we see a turn for the worse. As you can see, Clint, he's turning red. And we were like, okay, but we weren't expecting.
Yeah, and so now.
Yeah, and everybody's lighthearted,
And so now, Clint is going to express how he feels.
Yeah.
He's going to express how he feels and
what kind of woman he has dated previously.
Right. And you can tell.
Yeah. The energy just changed. Look at the women's faces. Even, everybody's like, what is happening?
So, in the interest of fairness, and we have to make sure we always be, fair. We have to keep it square, okay? Even on all sides, all right? That's what we're trying to do here, okay? But I have to look into the camera and I have to say, women, men have feelings too, okay? I know sometimes as men, we don't express ourselves just like you guys, and we may not express ourselves like you guys want us to, but we do have feelings as well.
But let's say what Clint said and then dig into what you're speaking of. So Clint told them that that the typical woman he had dated previously was an athlete figure and slim. And all the women just had this look of horror on their faces. And I, as a woman, did not get offended by what Clint said. And I'm not a slim sport figure either. I just felt he just spoke about just like she said, and we don't see this here, but she had told him she usually date tall, dark, and handsome.
Absolutely.
But they don't get to see that part.
Right. She said it on 2 different occasions
to him.
Prior to the group setting.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the bed, and she spoke of the physical attraction. And I believe that was the first time that Clint was stunned, by when she said it. And then she said it.
He was cool with it, though.
Right.
But she has mentioned it again. And
in
then
the pool.
Clint, in the pool.
In the pool.
Yep. In the pool, she said the same thing. And so now this is third time. And I think it was third strike out with him.
Right. And so that's 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they asked her, well, hey, how's everything going? She started mentioning that, well, we're still working through the physical attraction.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone says that, they're speaking for themselves. They're not speaking for the other person.
Right.
At this point in time, Clint didn't say anything about the physical attraction.
So I think he was just like, okay, well, let me just put this out there.
Right.
And everybody's giving him these horrible looks and everything else. But as Horace was mentioning, men have feelings too. But they laughed at Shaquille when she said his bald head is something I'm working on.
Right.
But when he said that about women, I mean, it was just a double standard. And Horace and I had, we really wanted to shine light on this because we feel like women don't typically feel like men have feelings because we will tend to say things to men and think, oh, you should just brush that off. But if the man says it to us or in a certain way, the man is a dog and a creep. So we just want to make sure we're taking care of each other in the relationship.
Right. And also, we have to keep in mind now, these people are new to one another. They don't know each other.
Yeah.
All right? And certain things that you may be able to say to someone where you have a relationship with, you can work through it, you can talk through it, and you can move on.
Right.
Okay? And we also don't know if this is something, obviously this was a sore spot.
Yes, because Gina was upset.
So we don't know if she, was, struggling with some issues as it relate, to her weight, or we also, just can't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
Because she could be an athlete, all people that...
Yeah, all athletes are not thin and slim.
Right.
There's some very agile people in the world that don't just fit into the mold of what you typically think of. So I think we just need to be careful. Right. And also, too, when we don't share the full story, they don't get it because they didn't get to hear what she had been telling him about his appearance either. So it was kind of like, how dare he say that? But tall, dark, and handsome, that's not what we see here. Right?
Exactly. And so it'll be really interesting to see if they're going to be able to recover, from this incident. Okay.
Because we've seen many times on this show where it's like one thing and that's it for the rest of the 8 weeks. Like, I am going to let you have it. We saw in the previous season, remember, that lady said she was going to do everything she could to ruin
slow
it.
Burn.
Yeah, slow burn. I was just like, oh my gosh.
Megan,
and she really did it.
Yeah, Megan and Ben.
Yeah, she really slow burned that man to the point that there was just no return. But, we just want to be careful. And hopefully they will recover and we'll see more later.
Right. But also, we have to say this as well. Other people, it'll be interesting to see if they will be able to rise above this and not focus on other people, all of these outside factors,
right? And
that
that's
are not
important,
a part of their marriage.
that we know in a marriage. You can't let the outsiders influence you, because at the end of the day, you go home together. Them other people go to their homes too. So hopefully we'll see success in this.